which is a peace treaty. But this is not sulh. This is not a peace treaty, no. This is hudna. Hudna is a truce. A truce. No fighting for a certain period of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to the Treaty of Hudaybiyah with these tremendous words at the beginning of Surah Al-Fath. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا. We have given you a manifest victory, O Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Where is the victory? I'll tell you. We returned to Medina, and as a good leader, Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam does not speak, not even to his wives. Sometimes that's difficult, Not even to his wives. He does not speak. True leadership. He allowed men to rest for 2 weeks. And at the end of 2 weeks, he gives the order. We march to Khaybar. Right away. You don't have 2, 4, 6 days to prepare. Right away we're marching to Khaybar. So there was no time for spies to send a message. There were no telephones in those days. No cell phones in those days. And we're marching to Khaybar. This is another initiative, but not a peace offensive. Khaybar is a thorn in our flesh. Khaybar is reeking with hatred and venom against us. Khaybar is a threat to us. And he marched to Khaybar to eliminate that threat. And he was so successful that he could leave he could leave Medina undefended and march to Khaybar, because the Quraysh had their hands tied. They had a truce with us. No fighting. So Medina is safe. Medina is safe. This is diplomacy at its finest. When we arrived in Khaybar and the Jews came out in the morning, they rubbed their eyes. It's Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. They were taken by surprise. This is military strategy at its finest. Khaybar had no time to seek to make any alliances, to seek to get help from anywhere. Within no time at all, we had surrounded Khaybar and laid siege on Khaybar. In fact, when Allah said, "Inna fatahna laka fathan mubina," the implication was that on the day that the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was signed, Khaybar fell. It was only a matter of time. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah spelled the end of Khaybar. It was only a matter of time. If only we could have that kind of strategic thinking today. And then we eventually were able to conquer Khaybar. We defeated Khaybar. And on the day that Khaybar fell, Makkah fell. It's only a matter of time. All of Arabia, was watching. Now that Badr had taken place, and Uhud had taken place, and Khandaq had taken place, all of Arabia was watching in this military stalemate. And then when they saw the initiative to Hudaybiyah, and when they heard about the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, and that the Treaty of Hudaybiyah allowed the Muslims to be recognized in all of Arabia on terms that were equal to the Quraysh, because the treaty said any Arabian tribe who wants to align themselves with the Quraysh is free to do so, and any which wants to align themselves with the Muslims is free to do so. And so now we have a political stature, a political status in Arabia equal to the Quraysh. So they were impressed by what we did at Hudaybiyah. But when we returned to Medina and then attacked Khaybar, and defeated the Jews in Khaybar, that turned the tables in the thinking of all of Arabia. And the Arabian tribes now look towards Islam as a force to be respected and a force to be admired. And one by one they started to enter into Islam. It was after Hudaybiyah and after Khaybar that the largest number of Arabs entered into Islam. Because of this change in the strategic environment which we had brought about because of our peace offensive against Mecca, and then our brilliant move against Khaybar. There are 2 years now left after 6 to 8. Khaybar was in the year 6 of the Hijrah. And in these 2 years, as more and more Arab tribes are entering into Islam, our side of the equation is growing. And Mecca is feeling despondent that they have been outmaneuvered by the brilliance of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, who was not giving you an Islam. Go to the masjid and go back home. Go to the masjid and go back home. And put your head in the sand like an ostrich and pretend that the world does not exist. That is not Islam. That's cosmetic Islam. And if Brother Imran is speaking like this today, it's not because he has any animosity in his heart for these people. It's not because he wants to embarrass them. They are his brothers. And he admires them for their faith and their piety. All that he wants to do is to give them a wake-up call before it is too late to wake up. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is giving to us this diplomatic brilliance, an understanding of the strategic environment, and an initiative that succeeds in changing the strategic environment and making it more favorable for him. And hence giving to us a sunnah that we must do the same. You cannot do that with Protestant Islam, which says that the only thing we have in Islam, the only interpretation and explanation is that which comes from Allah and His Messenger and from the Aslaf. And if it has not come from them, then no one else can come with it. There's nothing new to be taught. And so no critical thinking, no creative thinking, no creative application of the strategic Sunnah in this critical moment in which we are now located, on the brink of a very pit of fire. One of the tribes that was allied with the Quraysh attacked a tribe which was allied with the Muslims, and blood was shed, and a few men were killed, and so the treaty has been violated. Once the treaty is violated, then we are no longer in a state of truce with you, because this is a law, a universal law. Pacta sunt servanda, they taught me when I was a student of international relations. Pacta sunt servanda, treaty obligations must be honored. Well, that's the first verse of Surah Al-Ma'idah, the very first verse. Honor your treaty obligations. When you give your word, you must keep your word. And so now the treaty is violated. We no longer are under any obligation to remain in the truce. And the Quraysh realizes that. But the Quraysh does not want a resumption of war. Do you see how the tables have turned? Just a few years ago, they were beating the drums of war. And they are marching to Badr. The rich people's army, the state-of-the-art weaponry. 1,000 men singing songs of triumph. But now, they want the treaty to remain in force. They don't want the resumption of hostilities. So Abu Sufyan himself, the leader, because Abu Jahl is gone, Utbah is gone, so many others are gone. Abu Sufyan himself travels to Medina to meet with Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. But when he arrives in Medina, he gets a